to A Well-Designed Business. My name is Luann Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Today we're going to talk about something that doesn't get talked about often enough or loud enough in this industry. And that is simply, life does not wait for a good time to challenge us. It doesn't check our calendar before it hands us a season of loss or a health scare. And when it happens while you're also running a business, you're left trying to figure out how to do it all, keep it going, keep it afloat. My guest today is Camia Brown, founder of Camia Brown Interiors. Camia brings a background in construction and design together with real appreciation for culture and history. These are shaped in part by her Bachelor of Science in Interior Design and her Bachelor of Arts in Spanish, as well as through her time living in Spain and her work through Habitat for Humanity in Costa Rica. It also shows up in how she approaches craftsmanship and authenticity in her projects. You may remember Camia from an appearance on this podcast where she was here with Duke Renders. We will link that in the show notes. Now, what you're going to hear today is that about over an 18-month period, Camia had multiple major losses, personal losses. And what you're going to learn is she didn't actually just push through, muscle up, right? She learned that she had to slow down and rebuild her life and her business at a pace that allowed her to actually recover while still finding a way to keep working. So I'm looking forward to sharing this conversation with you and Camia. But before I get to it, I want to share a quick word about the Boardroom for Creatives. You know that thing that's been sitting on your desk for weeks, the decision you keep revisiting, the problem you can't see clearly because you're too deep inside it. You don't need another podcast episode about it. You need the right person looking at it with you. That's why I created the Boardroom for Creatives. This is a private 50-minute session with a vetted expert that I have personally selected to be a member of the boardroom. Someone who has already solved the problem you're facing, and I know it personally firsthand. You come prepared with your question, your problem. You leave with a decision and some guidance and advice. Go to boardroomforcreatives.com to learn more. That's boardroomforcreatives.com. All right, let me introduce you again to Camia. Hey, Camia, thanks so much for joining me again on A Well-Designed Business. How are you?
I'm doing well, Luann. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm good. Lady, how long have we been trying to do?
Listen, it's been over a year, and every time I feel like we've had all these little technical difficulties, we are finally here today.
We are. Watch us do the whole recording and then it will combust or something, because that
Right.
would literally be the final straw for us, right?
Seriously.
Anyway, I'm glad. I'm glad we're here. You've been on the show before. I mentioned it in the intro where you participated in the Duke Renders show where we talked about how Duke renderings, you use them in your business and stuff. But, it's funny because the first time you and I met each other, we were at a Mydoma event, right?
Yes. Yep.
We went to that party, that fun party that Sarah Daniele threw at some place in Greensboro that had I don't know, bocce ball and cornhole and all the things.
It was like an arcade place or something.
Yeah, right? But we met there and we got right into a personal discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, it seems like when we see each other, KBiz, High Point, whatever, we touch base on that personal discussion. And when I saw what you had written in order to prepare to be on the podcast, it didn't surprise me that you were like, let's talk about, what happens when real life life's at you and you're running a business is kind of the way I'm going to summarize it here.
Yeah.
But rather than me describe it, you set the stage for us on what's on your heart and your mind that you want to share with your colleagues about the journey that you've been through, Kamaya.
Luann, I really believe that that is the thing that we need to talk about is like, how do you continue and like accept where you are in life and move forward while life is lifing and you're running a business and you have a family and maybe you have a husband or you're desiring these things. It's like, how do you keep all of these things going and you're dealing with grief
Yeah.
and like how it impacts all of the aspects of your life. And so, yeah, I wanted to talk about that today and how
Yeah.
that's been a part of my journey.
And the thing is, I have not experienced the grief that you have experienced. You lost your mother and
Hmm.
you're young and she was young. And that's a stomach punch. But it's not a stomach punch that I can imagine. And so I know that there's peers out there that have probably experienced that exact same grief or grief of that level.
Hmm.
And you're right. It's worth a conversation because I haven't been through that, but there have been other things. Of course, no life goes unscathed, right? So 40
Right.
plus years in business, Vin and I have had our moments. Um, but everybody does get through it differently. And you are 100% right. It's worth a conversation because what you say about the way you handle it and continue to handle it may be the thing that helps somebody listening.
Hmm.
So talk to me about it. Talk to me about, this journey through grief and what happened and what do you want to share? I don't want to lead you. That's
I
my
mean,
what I'm going to say. I don't want to lead you.
I'll start with like the details of what happened, right?
Okay.
So in 2022, my mother passed away, right? Um, and it wasn't all of a sudden she had breast cancer, but she had that diagnosis for over 10 years, and then she got COVID, and it exacerbated all of her symptoms. And then from diagnosis of COVID to passing away was 3 months.
Oh, that part
So
I did not know.
that's the part that was hard because if you met her prior to having COVID, you wouldn't have known that she had cancer. She did have
Just
lymphedema,
yeah.
but in her arm, but you wouldn't have known because she was very vibrant and so much fun, and she
Mm.
was living with it, and she was on a new trial medicine.
Oh,
So they had really high hopes that she was gonna, be cancer free soon, and then she got COVID. And it was one of those things where, like, when it rains, it pours, because 6 months prior to her mother passed away, who was my grandmother who lived in Jersey, that I would
remember
go
that.
see all the time, and we'd have crafts together and play cards. And so I was already navigating that void. And then the guy was dating, we broke up that July. So then that week, and my mom's like, we're going to Florida for the week. Come have time with us and just get away from New York, come have some time. And I'm like, okay, fine. And then she gets COVID while we're there. And my father. So like they're quarantining. We're on a resort. I'm taking care of all these sick and shut in folks. My brother and his kids are out in the beach. It was just a mess.
Wow.
And then everything just continued to trickle down until she passed away. And the contractor that I was working with at that time for a majority of my projects, and Luann, at this time, I had literally like 15 active projects. I
Whoa.
had an office in FIDI. I had 4 people working for me. And like, when I tell you, like, business was booming, and then
Wow.
it all crumbled. He committed suicide 6 months later.
Oh, Kamaya.
So when I tell you, like, it wasn't just me, like, grieving my grandmother, then the relationship, then my mom, then my contractor. I was grieving aspects of my business, the way that it was growing, and I was figuring things out. So, like, my whole foundation was just pulled from underneath me.
That is way more than I understood this year and a half of your life to be.
Yeah,
I knew parts of it,
yeah,
but God bless it, sweetie.
yeah, yeah.
It's a wonder you were standing.
It was insane. And here we are, 4 years almost later. It's literally like 6 months ago, I cried on my way to the gym because for a split second, I felt like myself again.
Whoa.
And I didn't even know what that felt like. And I
Wow.
was like, oh my gosh, who is this person? Because I hadn't been in touch with her in over 4 years. And so, like, when I say, like, they tell you grief's not linear and we all grieve differently, and you have to just allow yourself to feel the feels. I will say, like, for me, my faith has been so instrumental
Mm.
in keeping me grounded. Like in the beginning, I didn't want to pray and I didn't want to talk to God. And then I was like, well, this is the only thing that's sustainable because it's not alcohol, it's not men, I don't do drugs. Like, you know what I mean? It was like,
Yeah.
what's that one thing that I can hold on to that can, that's going to give me comfort? For me, it was my faith. And so I had to rebuild, like build a new foundation because you can't rebuild what was there. So it was
Because
literally building a new foundation for my life and being okay with it being messy and not looking the way that I wanted it to look or coming together as quickly as I would have liked for it to. And so here we are
wow. You know,
navigating.
we said this to each other. We said this to each other probably about a year ago when it was the second or third time that we sat down to record and one of us had a tech problem. I mean, it was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
how could this be the third time in a row? And it's a tech problem and it's a different tech problem and we can't solve it, right? And I remember us saying, we're not supposed to do this yet. Like, okay, this is ridiculous. And we've just had a half hour of a catch up again and cracking up and doing all the things and checking in. But we both said obviously, it's not supposed to happen. And when you said it's only in the last 6 months that you've catched the glimpses of Camia of 4 years ago, we would have been in the middle of your grief still, even if you were what I'm hearing is even if you had days and moments when you thought you were
Right,
managing it, right?
right,
And
right.
then I remember we're recording this in July of 2026. I remember, I think it was just this past KBIS that I ran into you, right?
Hmm, hmm.
And you were like, it's 2026. It is a year. I'm owning it. I'm whatever your words were,
Right.
but I remember you just being like, I'm back. And
Yeah.
I thought, there's that fire horse here, girl. You go
Yes.
ride it. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that doesn't mean I don't want you to think that I think life is cheery every
Of
day now.
course.
I
Of course.
recognize the balancing act that you're doing, but I'm just calling out loud what it seems like is the beginning of the turn of
Mhm.
the corner, is what I'm hearing.
100%.
Mhm.
100%. And um, I think the thing about all of that is taking my time and not forcing a timeline that I wanted it to be
Yeah.
because it's different. As an entrepreneur, again, from having this vibrant, large, business that was growing, right, that I was excited
Yes.
about, for it to literally just like take a pivot for it was a lot of loss all happening
That's right.
within that time. And so I was like, okay, I've got to slow down and I have to figure out like, what can I manage? What can I handle? How do I bounce back and recover? What does that look like? How do I take care of myself emotionally and physically, while I'm trying to still make a living?
Yeah, that's the other
Um,
thing. You're supporting yourself. It's not
'Cause you're
like there's a
exactly.
partner on the other
I do
side of the table and like,
exactly.
"Hey, babe, take a breath. I got this."
Right,
Right?
right, right.
Yeah.
So, we thank God for savings, right? We thank God for savings. I thank God for a supportive family. Like my parents were married when my mom passed away. So, he's always been super supportive and had the ability to also support me financially when I needed it.
Yeah, yeah, take a
And
helping hand.
that was a blessing to be able to lean on
Mm,
him. But
yeah. But yeah, what I'm hearing too is there is a legitimate, definite grief that should not also be minimized about the business that was what it was becoming
yeah.
and how it had to change and stop just from necessity in the beginning and then like you said refiguring it out and coming back from it. It's funny because Vin was diagnosed with bladder cancer 6 months
Mm,
ago.
mm.
And he's fine. He's going to be fine. And,
Mhm.
he's got to go every 3 months and all the things. And he's going to be fine. And that's just the way life is going to be because I'm willing it into the universe right now. Right. But I can tell you that there was one moment when we left the doctor's office where there was just a little touch and go, nothing to what you went through with your mom. I'm not making that comparison at all.
Sure, I understand.
Um, but I remember, and it wasn't, to what I'm saying is the comparison wasn't like I wasn't faced with the real decision, but I sat there and I went, what if you had to pare everything back in order to take care of him now? Like, what if this required that? And I was like, okay, well, window works, they're not quite cooked, but they're going to have to go. JC can lead them.
Right.
And I was like, well, EW is not going to really function
Mhm.
if I walk away also. Now we have a
Mhm.
partner, with Jessica, and that's more possible. But I was like, yeah, this one would have to go. Like, this is the one that would have to go. And I was like,
Mhm.
huh, wouldn't that be
But
whacked?
you know what's beautiful about that, Luann? Even in the midst of that, it doesn't have to go forever.
Yes, I hear
And
you.
that's the thing that I had to, like, embrace. This is still a season. This is a part of my story. This does not define me. This is not
Yes.
indicative of my future.
Yes.
And when I really embraced that, I said, okay, so let's just ride this wave.
Yeah.
And if we're on this wave longer than we wanted to be,
Gotcha.
that's okay.
So it's
And
a
I was
lot of
like,
giving yourself grace, it sounds like.
so much grace. I've had to extend so much grace to myself. It's like even my capacity, it's not the same. I
Yes.
can't juggle as much as I used to. I'm okay with that. I will do what I can in the excellence and the capacity that I have, and that is fine. Right? I need more self-care. I have to I know I have to prioritize my time in the gym because it helps me stay clear and it keeps me grounded. I
Mm-hmm.
know that you're going to find me in church on Sundays because that is who I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you find your non-negotiables and then you honor that and you start to just like literally the things that were in my control, I said I will control. And anything that is
Mm-hmm.
with outside of my control, I will leave that to God and let the chips fall where they may.
That's a great line. What's in my control, I will control, right? And what's not, I will leave to God, because a lot of times we don't take that first part of the sentence and say, what's in my control, I will control. Because especially when you're in such a place of deep, genuine, multiple layers of grief,
Mhm.
I think that's probably, if you would look back and say, that's a hard thing to hold yourself accountable to in those moments, right? Like, I can
Yeah.
control this, so I will.
Right.
I can imagine I can control this, but I don't feel like it today. I want to go back
Right.
to bed.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
And you give
And
yourself
you do,
permission to have
right?
those moments.
Yes, you
Exactly.
do. Right, right. But
You
you don't
do.
do it forever. That's what you're saying. You have to
Right.
snap yourself and say, today I can control it, so I will, because tomorrow I might not be able to.
Mhm.
Maybe that's sort of a self-talk.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, I love to read. So reading books and listening to worship music and like I said, finding outlets to just help me like ground myself in who I am and what started to feel good for me, though that was really, really important.
Yeah.
Um in laying that foundation again.
Yeah.
Going to events, seeing you out at different places and
Yeah.
reconnecting with other design friends, again, on my own terms,
Yes.
sharing what I want with the public on
Right.
my own terms, being present on social media on my own terms. And I just was like, and this is okay. All of
Yeah.
this is okay. And when it's my time, when I have capacity, I will do more. And until then, I will do what I can and what feels good to me.
It sounds like in there, the way you describe those couple of things is that you've developed a higher level of discernment, like what warrants your attention, your time, your worry, your grief, and what you just say, that's something I can't control, so it's hard and it's grief filled, I'm going to let it sit. And do I need to be this in social? Do I need to be at this event? Well, you know what? It's not like being on the wave of busy anymore. It sounds like you've
Right,
developed a
right.
higher level of discernment of what actually is worth my time and energy.
Yes, yes. And then I stopped caring what people think.
Yeah.
This book, Mel Robbins, The Let Them
Let
Theory,
them theory, yeah.
girl. I also love a good audiobook. You know, we love our podcasts.
Yeah.
And I was listening to this again, like this was literally like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, groundbreaking. I didn't even know I was like living this manifesto in my life. And
Yes.
I was like, it just gave me so much more
Oh,
freedom and like power to just be like, you know what? All of this is fine.
yeah.
Let them,
Let
let it
them.
be. It's
Yeah.
okay. I love it. It's such a
Good
good
for
read.
you. Good for you. Good for you. I'm glad that helped you. I really am. Right. And the truth of it is, yeah, like I'm sure once you read it, you probably had thoughts of why did I think I needed permission to say let them,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
It's like,
Yep,
yeah.
that's a big takeaway. It's like you could have just been living this way all along, but we again, we live in this era now with social media and all this influence. It's so easy to get consumed by it, and then you
Hmm.
get caught up in the glitz and glam of,
Yeah.
Hollywood. It's all smoke and
Yeah.
mirrors.
It is. It is.
And
It's funny because I wonder if because I have so many real conversations with you guys, whether it's through the podcast or through the events when we meet each other, that I am every day brought back to the reality of what's happening in Instagram is not the whole truth.
right.
So I don't have that. And also, I'm 100 years older than all of you, too. So it's a little different. Okay. But I literally, I think it's kind of like the let them theory, aha, for you. It's like,
Uh-huh.
wait a second. And for me, I just literally, I will tell every one of you, nobody's life is like it is on Instagram. And you
Right.
know it, and you say it to yourselves when you're worried about the FOMO and you're worried about what you should look like, because there's a
Mhm.
little part of you, it's like, well, maybe that person's life really is.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
I'm like, no, not even that person's life really is, right?
Yep, yep, yep.
It's
It's true. It's
crazy.
so true.
I mean, it's the human race. Somebody's difficulty is somebody else is different from somebody else's.
Mhm.
And somebody's like speed bump is somebody's, splat on the ground. It's not a contest. It's
Right,
just
right.
that it's not the Instagram feed. Like it's
Exactly.
funny. I can tell you why I know it also isn't too, because I don't think in the last 2 years, I have had a conversation with 5 people that at some point in the conversation, they don't say to me, "Oh my God, you are so busy. I don't know how you do everything." And I'm like, well, you're looking at my Instagram life, aren't you?
Right,
Where
right,
it's like,
right.
San Diego. It's like, yes, I am doing a lot of things, but I'm at the beach a lot too, and I'm
Mhm,
like
mhm,
babysitting the grandchildren every 20 seconds. And we went to Five Guys with them last night. It's like, it really isn't the highlight reel, my friends. That is
mhm.
exactly what it is, the highlight reel, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's so
So,
true. That's so true. That's so true.
yeah, yeah. So now you are at the point. Well, I don't know. Do you want to take us back? So there was a point, whether it was January, right when I saw you, probably a few months or weeks before that, where you just was like, started to feel better, started to consciously know that you were feeling better, recognize the moments of feeling better. But then you mentioned a couple of times you had to build a new foundation for yourself, a foundation
Mhm.
that didn't include your personal support system in the same faces and eyeballs. Your mother and your grandmother are not part of it. Thankfully, your father is, and other people are, I'm sure. But it's a different foundation, right?
Right.
And then there's a new foundation for the business. It's not a foundation
Right.
with 15 projects at the same time and 4 employees and yada, yada. So
Right.
tell us, talk to your friend out there that is like just about ready to be okay, face it, new
Yeah.
foundation, but possible.
Yeah. It's giving yourself the grace
Mm,
to explore your why. Like I had to go back to my why. Why am
okay.
I doing this? What do I want out of this career?
Mm,
And how do I want to impact other people's lives? And I ended up going to, when I was really asking myself this question, um, I went to NeoCon in
okay.
Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had an interest in commercial design, but at the time I hadn't been working on any commercial projects. And I had recently got my NCIDQ certification. So I was like, I
Congratulations.
need to, flex these muscles a little bit more. And I went to neocon, and then doors opened up and I started working on commercial projects. And so I've been working more so in commercial projects lately than I have in residential. I still have residential clients, but
Yeah.
I just finished Gladys Books and Wine in Bed-Stuy, super cute
Nice.
bookstore and wine bar. And I've been working on, I have the senior living multifamily project, over 100 units, and we're doing all the public spaces for that. That's also here in Bed-Stuy
Wow,
in Brooklyn.
congratulations.
And was working on some other affordable housing projects. And I, just had a meeting today with a client for another like cocktail bar and project that would be in Brooklyn. And so, you take a second, and maybe it's a few minutes, maybe it's a few weeks, but I took a weekend away and I went to Saratoga Springs, and I'm a girl who loves her Saratoga water, so it made sense. And I was like, I'm gonna just take some time to myself and like process. Like, you have
Figure it
to
out.
clear out all the noise and connect to your why. So for me, it was connecting to my why and figuring out what sparks joy. And then, like, let's just bring more joy into your life, right? Let's let's do things that are going to like fill your cup.
Mm.
And so I went back to finding those types of projects and surrounding myself with those types of people and saying no to the stuff that doesn't spark joy and fill my cup. And I'm like, you know what? God will bring more of the other thing in if you're not adding value. And so I don't have to say yes from a place of scarcity. I can say no. And that is also okay. No is a
Yeah.
complete sentence.
That's it. That's it. That's what I say all the time.
So
No full
friend,
stop.
it's like, friend, it may still continue to not be okay until it is okay, and
Yep.
that is okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, I just was like, it's all okay, even the things that are not okay. Like, it's okay to not be okay. And I would just sit in that, and I'm like, I'm not okay today,
Mm.
and that's okay.
Yes. Yeah. I feel like I ran into you in one of those days. I
Yes, you
feel
did.
like, did I say? I,
Yes.
I literally, I couldn't tell you where it was, but I remember getting that vibe. And I remember looking at you and I'm like, how you doing, babe? And you just like, you said whatever words. And I'm like, oh, not really though, huh? You know what
Right.
I mean?
And
It was like,
I was like, we're here, we're
yeah,
present. And you're like, okay. And you
all
gave
right.
me one of those hugs, rubbed my back and said, I want to see you more. And I said, and you will eventually,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's not, this is not the season.
No.
And, I even just like something as small as like being more involved in the community, right? Like,
Mm,
I wanted to participate in Design on a Dime when I first heard about it, like, I don't know, 5 years ago or so. And the opportunity didn't present itself. And then the year my mother passed away, I was there supporting friends who were participating, and they're like, "Oh, you should do it." And I'm like, "It's not my time."
it's not.
And then this year, it was my time, and
Ah,
I was able to do that and again raise funds for an amazing organization, and just like, it was a great experience. And I was like, "This felt good." I had capacity. God opened doors, vendors supported, and it was great. It was fun. But I was like, this is my time, right?
yes.
And so when is your time? The doors will open and then the things will happen.
It's tapping into that, right? It's tapping into that intuition for you. It's tapping into the messages from God, right? It's like recognize. I love the way you're
Yeah.
describing it because it really is like, does it feel right? I had a conversation with one of my chairman of the boards this morning, and she
Hmm.
had kind of a tough decision to make.
Hmm. Hmm.
And, I'm getting all the facts and trying to understand all the nuances so that I can give her some solid advice.
Hmm.
But ultimately, I said to her, yeah, give me the answers to all these questions. But I also want to know, what is your inside voice telling you?
Yeah.
What is your gut telling you? I said,
Right.
because we can game this, but I also know it's such a big decision that you already know it in your core. And I
Hmm.
said, and if you can tap into that and identify it, then you and I can work it out. What happens if that's the way we go? We
Right.
can
Right.
we can
Right.
we can
Right.
plan the game around it, as opposed to, you can't, to your point, when you do what your gut and your intuition and what you're called to do because you have a connection with God, then more of it will come. But when you work against stream, even
Mhm.
if you convince yourself it's for a practical reason, it can't multiply. It's not the abundance theory, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And how blessed is she to have you in her life to actually give her sound advice,
Mm,
right? To
right.
tap
I mean,
into
we all
that.
need that. We
We
all
do.
need the
We
people
do.
to ask. Yeah.
Ask those tough questions and help us along the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, this other book that I read that was really helpful is called Leadership Not by the Book by
Mm.
David Green.
Oh, I haven't heard of
He's
that
the
one.
founder and CEO of Hobby Lobby.
Oh, okay.
And, folks were like, how did you grow this company? And to sum it up, he's like, I listened to the Holy Spirit. He's like, I listened to that inner voice. And even if it sounds contrary to what everyone else is telling me to do, I don't. I listen to what I feel God is literally saying to do,
Yeah.
and then I do that. And he's like, and every time I didn't, it was the wrong decision.
Yeah. 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 You
But
know,
it's such a good book. Like
I
just
wrote it
all the
down.
stories and stuff.
I'm an
Yeah.
Audible girl. I might probably do
Yeah, yeah,
two or
yeah,
three
yeah.
business books a week on Audible, back and forth to the beach, walking on
Same.
the beach, driving to the beach. It's
Yeah,
like
no,
lots
I'm
of.
a I'm an
Then he's like,
Audible
"Oh, should
girl
we drive
too.
together?" I'm like, "Well, no, because then I can't listen to my book." I'm like, "I'll see you down there." Okay. All right. So my thing is that you've made great strides, Camia. You have come through an unthinkable couple of years. You have faced the fact that, the trajectory that you were on, personally and professionally, is completely 180 degrees in the other direction.
Mhm.
Um, but you've also, to your point, found the way back by tapping into your why. And I love that you did that. I love, because that really goes to establishing mission, vision, values, right? It's
Mhm,
like
mhm.
that's the personal way, but it's
Yeah.
the exact same thing. It's like, what is the point of my business? What is the
Yep.
point of my life? What is the thing that makes my business go? What is the thing that makes my life happy? Right. So it's a very similar exercise. And the truth is, you could have gone to that weekend in Saratoga Springs and come back and went, "Yeah, I'm going to cut hair for a living." Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
you could have been like, "That's it. Close shop. We're going to go do this." Right? So
Exactly.
it's fun that you kept in this, that it's a continuation of the path that you were on. But it is interesting. I'm curious, were you always interested and thought you might do commercial, and then just one project led to another, and all of a sudden you have 15 residential? Or do you think it's more like, yeah, I don't need to be with that many humans all day long. I'm still navigating life, and
On it
I don't need
well,
all your grief and all your stories. Let me get my work done.
so it was a little bit of both.
I can
So,
see it,
in
right?
design school, you learn all of the different
Disciplines. Yeah.
disciplines, right?
Yeah.
We have a commercial studio, small commercial, large commercial, you have residential, and you do something in hospitality. And so, having that type of exposure in class, I'm like, okay, well, I'm a girl who loves options and I like to explore different things. So I always was fascinated by every aspect of interiors, except I really didn't like healthcare. But I was like, okay, everything else has its place and it would be fun. And so I wanted to work on commercial projects, especially after getting my NCIDQ
Mm.
certification. I was like, yeah, I want to put this to work. Like I'm very technical. I love custom millwork. I love designing things. I like making sure it's functional and figuring out like how can we push the envelope in design. And so again, you speak it, you will it, you pray about it, you manifest it, and then those things start to attract towards you when you're ready to receive it.
Yeah.
And so I think that that was a moment where God's like, okay, here's something, like you're ready. Like I can trust you with this. It's not going to also hurt you and cause harm. Like it will be a blessing. And then yeah, it just like happened. So
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because this is in no way meant to minimize your relationship with God, because I can feel and sense that it's real, and that's amazing and it's beautiful. And I just want to also just add to it, though, somebody listening that really doesn't have a relationship with God. To
yeah.
me, we could not support, we could substitute our higher self, right? Your
Yeah.
highest, best self,
Yeah.
right? I just would hate for somebody's listening who needs your message to get stop there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because everything you're
Yeah.
saying is so valid and
Of
so
course,
true, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and
So
that's why I was saying, like, tapping into, like, not just your
yours.
why, but, like, tapping into, like, your intuition, like you were
Yeah.
saying, it's like, what do you feel you really should do? Because most of the times we know the answer, we just
Yeah.
need to have the courage to do the thing.
And being
Um,
willing, like you said, to look for the things that spark the joy. That was your line.
yeah, yeah.
Because we know those too. We
Mhm.
know those too. And sometimes we don't put a boundary around the thing that doesn't to leave room for the thing that does. And that
Right.
takes a strong amount of discipline. We had off air conversation in a different thing. That's exactly the epitome of that. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, we have
yeah.
to say no here to leave room over here for this thing, even though that
Exactly.
other thing hasn't come in yet, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we can name the thing, I
Okay.
I wanna be married, I would love to be someone's wife. And part of dating is,
Uh-huh.
this is a moment where we're trying to figure out, are we compatible? And
Yeah.
sometimes you're a great candidate and you have some great qualities, but you're just not my person.
Yeah.
And then there are other people where you're like, why did you even cross my path?
Yeah.
You
But I
know?
was like, just so now, since you let the cat out of the bag, what I was complimenting Kamaya on before air when she was sharing that with me was it's always hard. A breakup is always hard. But when it's like you're great ish, but not all the way, that is very hard to just
Yeah,
be like, no, I deserve all my non negotiables, was what
right,
was the way you
right,
described it to me.
right.
I know I deserve all my non negotiables. I'm a loving person who will make room for less than perfection, but I'm not going to give up on my non negotiables. And
Exactly.
when you have a kind person there that you get along with ish mostly, and you really truly desire to be married, that is, and I commended you and I congratulated you. And it's a version of what you're doing. It's just choosing your joy, not
Mhm.
choosing mediocrity, not
Yep.
choosing good enough. And so it's doing that in all areas of your life. And it's not an easy thing to do.
The saying, Luann, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Exactly.
I believe it.
I, I,
It's so true.
I know. It's so true, right? It is so true. And it does show you who people are, doesn't it?
Mhm,
It
mhm,
just does
mhm.
show you who people are. There are just certain situations you're like, oh, good enough is okay there. Yeah, no, I'm not a good enough person, right? Like
Exactly,
we do
exactly.
things all the way, right? So
Yep.
now tell me about look, we talk about self care, we talk about wellness strategies, we do all the things, but push comes to shove. And it's like, and so I'm curious with a massive stomach punch of these couple of years. This is not just, hey, universe is saying, hey, eat your vegetables. This is a big stomach punch and it's a
Yeah.
lot of grief. Is it is it just so visceral for you now that self-care happens and it's non-negotiable and it's what you do and you recognize how it helps you process your grief, you recognize how it helps you run your business, you recognize all the things that we know that it does for us. But is it that almost like evangelistic type thing, like I've seen the other side and this, or is it still like, look, there's some days I go to the gym because I say I go on Wednesday, and I'm going to be honest with you, the whole way there I'm not interested in going.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely,
okay,
absolutely,
okay, so you're
absolutely.
still human.
Again, 100%. Now, the version you just said sounds like Instagram. I'm like, it's giving social media vibes. I would
Exactly.
love to say that, I'm super excited to go to the gym every day, but I
Yeah.
can tell you when I've missed a few days,
Yeah.
I can feel it in my body. I'm like, oh, something's off. Oh, I'm a little
Yeah.
Saturday. It's like, the serotonin, like what
Yep.
working out does provide for you. I was like, oh, wait, when the last time you went to the gym? Oh, wait, you haven't been all week. Oh, yeah, because this client asked for this and da, da. Oh, okay. So wait, our boundaries are starting to drop. Oh, wait, we've got to come
Yes.
back. So there's this constant evolution and like checking in with yourself. I know for me, I'm like checking in with myself all the time. Like, okay, girl, how do we feel today?
Right.
Do you want to do this? You just said yes to a lot of things. where are you in this? Like,
Yes.
okay, it's okay to tell someone, I'm so sorry I committed to this. I can't do this anymore. We
Right.
need to reschedule. Like, we have these conversations all the time.
You and Camia all day long, right?
It's us. Yep, we're doing this. And I'm
Is
like,
it true?
okay. I'm like, okay, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
so it
Well,
happens.
I mean, I'm glad to know it. I mean, look, I'm a human, and it's the same for me as well. But I've also never had such a dramatic life change, and I didn't know if it's just like, no, this is my DNA now. But it is, what I'm hearing
No.
is it's a consistent, the things that you've been saying. What is my why? Where's my spark of joy? It's like, okay, so I just slipped a couple of days, get it back. It's not a, it's you're in touch. That's what it
Yeah,
is. You
it's
have
not
decided to
rigid.
be
It's
in
not
touch with
rigid.
yourself.
I'm so much more kinder to myself now. I
Mm.
have to be because, again, I still have days where I can't get out of bed.
Oh gosh, I'm
They
so
still
sorry.
happen. Like, I still will have a dream about my mom, and then it's like throws off my morning, and I have to
Oh,
cancel a few meetings, and that is okay.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm like, I can't function today. I need to take a self-care day, and I have to just let these
Just
things.
live in what I'm feeling.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
allow myself to live,
So
because otherwise
those
it
days.
just will impact a whole week and
Right,
trickle
right.
all down, as opposed to just let it in, process it, and handle it, is kind of what I'm hearing. Or
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the whole week anymore. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know the
there are
difference.
days, and then there's moments, and sometimes I'll catch myself in a moment, and I'm like, okay, we can't deep dive, we can't go too far down that rabbit hole. Okay, Kamai, we got to come back. Like, feel it, but don't dwell in it.
Got it.
Don't lay in that space because you can always seep back into a depression and find
Mm,
yourself in bed without a shower for 3 or 5 days, or
mm,
you know, not doing your work. And
yeah.
so it's possible to go back to that space, but I recognize when that emotion is starting to become very heavy, and I'm like, okay, put on a worship song, okay, call a friend, okay, go walk outside, get some fresh air, literally go touch a tree,
Yeah, yeah,
go
yeah,
put
yeah.
your feet in some dirt, go
Yep.
ground yourself.
Yes.
So you put it, for me, I've had to like bake in some support within myself, encouraging myself
Yeah.
to like not get too deep into those spaces. And you know who you can call and who you can't in those moments, who can actually encourage you and lift you. And then it's like, okay, maybe I just need some alone time. No, that doesn't feel good. I need to hear music. Maybe not. Let's go shopping. Okay, I'm gonna go to a really good restaurant. Like, sometimes you don't even know what you need. You just
Yeah.
know this ain't it. I gotta go do something. So again, it's not linear. It's a journey. You're
Yes.
figuring it out. It's
Yeah.
all new territory. I had no idea how to navigate. And even now, like, I've had friends who've lost. One of my friends, she lost her stepfather. Another friend just lost his brother. I mean, his
Mm.
sister. And they're like, Kamaya, you've been through this. What do I do? And I'm like,
Oh,
grief is different for everyone, and
yeah.
we still have to talk about, how do you want me to support you, because support looks different for everyone as well. And so there is no one size, one shoe fits all.
Yeah.
Everyone's journey is different.
The biggest thing that I keep hearing is to just keep tapping into your own self and hear the messages that you're
Yeah.
getting from your higher self, from God, from your intuition,
Yeah.
from all
Yeah.
of it. It's like,
All of it.
what do you need? Okay, that wasn't it. Go to something else, not just like give up, right? And
Right.
sometimes it is, you know what? We can take an hour to give up, right? We can take a morning to give up, you know?
My brother,
Um,
my brother told me when I was deep in it, he was like, girl, you can't be broken, broken. Pick a struggle.
broken, broken. Is that what he said?
You can't be broken, broken. And he's like,
You
get
can
up,
pick
go
one or
wash
the
your
other.
behind, go wash, get up. You
Oh,
can't be broke and broken.
oh.
And I was like, you're right. We can't be broke and broken. So let me get up. I can be broken right now, but I can't be
Can't
broke.
be
Let's go,
broke.
let's go get some clients. Let's go make some money.
And to your point about everybody needs the a support person in a different way, he said it and it made
So
you laugh,
true.
right? Somebody else
Yep,
could have said
yep.
it and you would have been like, get the
Exactly.
heck out of here. What do you know about my life, right? So it is relevant. Know who you call when you call, right? What kind of message are you going to get, right? He's the guy who's going to like
Exactly.
smack you around a little.
So true, so true. So
Oh,
I'm like,
that's
hey, you just take it one day at a time, and you have to be kind to yourself.
yeah,
Being
yeah,
kind, being kind to yourself, and then it's a grace you extend to others. Because sometimes I run into people who are just like being rude or being mean, and I'm like, I don't know what you're going through today, but
yeah,
I'm gonna pray for you, or
yeah,
I'm gonna just smile, or I'm gonna be nice, or
yeah.
because you just never know. And
You do not.
so, the grace that I've extended to myself, I extend to others, and wish them goodwill, and it all comes full circle. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's crazy. So we're 6, 7 months out of feeling more on your feet than you've felt in the last 4 years.
yeah.
What's future for you? What are you seeing coming down the line? And do you feel like it's a season of legitimate cruise control, which I could see a valid, path of that? Like, don't press it too much. We're testing. It's almost like, okay, I'm swimming. Do we have to do a marathon now? Like, I'm in the water.
Right,
I'm good.
exactly. I was like,
Right?
"Oh,
Right?
no, friend. We are literally just we laid the foundation,
Yeah.
right? The walls are up in the house.
Yeah.
The framing is done. We have paint on the walls. We're now looking at the floor plan, and we're starting to decide,
Yeah. We
like,
got a
what's
lot of
gonna
work
be
to do
where. We
still.
still have
Yeah.
a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. But definitely, I wouldn't say cruise control, but I would say we're swimming.
Yeah.
I'm not just treading water. Like I'm able
Okay.
to just like, there's a different calm and like a new cadence that
Mm.
I'm able to embrace now.
Mm.
But still figuring out things, but with a different perspective. And so now I'm like, okay, Camia Brown Interiors, CBI, we're doing more commercial work now, and tapping into some hospitality projects, and we still are working on residential. And then for myself personally, I'm tapping into things that I love. Like I love to paint. I stopped painting.
Mm.
I stopped playing the
Oh.
piano.
Oh.
I love to cook, right? I've
Oh.
started doing more of that. I love swimming. I'm going to get my scuba certification. Right,
Wow.
so I'm just, like, tapping into things that because I also believe that, like, when you fuel and feed yourself and your soul, you're also able to then in turn give that back to your clients, and you can't pour from an empty cup. So I'm constantly making sure that my cup is full so that
Mm.
I can then pour out and love and share with clients and with friends. Otherwise, I need to just sit at home. I need to go sit at the park and read a book or listen to an audiobook, you know what I mean? It's like no, so
No, I
but
love that
poco a
because
poco.
that's also, the whole finding the spark, right? So finding the
Mhm.
spark in the types of projects and having that moment in Saratoga Springs, but then also the scuba certification. And it's like, you know, just being out there, being alive, being happy, being cognizant of the moments of joy that you can find. I mean,
Yeah,
you've had so much grief, there's no question you could sit and think about those, but it sounds like you're also choosing the moments that are happy despite
right,
everything that's happened. It's like, no,
right,
no, I can find happy moments as well. And
right.
that's where you're going to multiply, right? You're going to multiply in work, you're going to multiply in relationships, you're going to multiply in self growth and exploration, it seems to me
Mhm,
as well,
mhm.
right?
Exactly, so you feel the feel, but you don't let the
Mm,
feeling consume you,
mm,
right? You
mm-hmm.
acknowledge, "This is how I feel. I'm not feeling well. I'm really sad right now. This sucks. I
Yeah,
really wanna talk to you right now, and I can't."
yeah.
And you
Mm.
just you feel it, but you don't stay there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to have the
You
strength to get out, get beyond it. And I think the thing that gives you the strength to get out, I'm going to make a guess that it's as simple as knowing that you got out of it, whether it was the day before or the week before. It's knowing that you can. right?
Yeah,
Sometimes is
because you
that
have
the only thing
well,
you
yeah,
have that
because you
evidence
have
that you've
breath
done
in
it.
your lungs, right? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, I woke up and I'm here another day. Well, I guess I'm supposed to be here. I gotta do
Gotta do
something.
this.
I gotta do something. Well, all
All
right.
right, there's the sun. I guess I gotta live.
I'm like, darn, I gotta do something about it. So,
You nut.
but yeah, it sometimes, like I said, sometimes
It's
it
as
gets
simple as
it really is as simple as that, and it can be quite funny. You're like, oh, I smell today. I should probably go take a bath.
my job.
Because if you smell yourself, that means everybody else smelled you a long time ago. So, you know,
Oh gosh. Oh, you're so funny.
but
I
yeah,
mean, I have to say, I do think it's a good thing that somehow the universe just moved us around to not do this because I don't know that we would have laughed over it. It's still not, it's not funny, but you're able
yeah,
to see, and I don't even want to put words in your mouth,
right,
but
right.
it just feels like the hope is there, right? Is that,
Yeah, I would say that's a great way of saying it, Luann. Like, I do have hope now. And for so long I didn't.
yeah,
Like, for
yeah,
so long,
yeah.
there was no hope.
Oh God.
It was really, really hard.
Yeah, I
It
know.
was so hard. And so, I wanted to share because I know like life is happening for all of us every single day. And it's just important to acknowledge that this is where you are, but you don't have to stay here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't control the things that you can't, but that which you can, surround yourself with great people and find things that are going to spark joy, no matter how small that spark is, because a flame will eventually come. And just like take it one day at a time. And
Mm.
it will eventually compound. You will eventually be able to look back and say, wow, I have grown, I have evolved, I have changed, I am healing. And so, yeah, I'm glad we're having this conversation now because 6 months ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, it was very different.
Yeah.
And 6 years from now, it'll be a different
Yes.
conversation.
100%. 100%. I'm just what I'm feeling in my deep core right now is even if we had done it, say 7 or 8 months ago, I think like that moment, like you just got me with that moment. You're tearing up. I'm tearing
Yeah.
up, picturing
Yeah.
and remembering real life visits with you where we were in that moment. You would have still been there though. And we would have
Yeah.
talked about it being behind you, but it wouldn't have been. And it wouldn't have rung true. Do you
Right.
know what I'm saying? I think you probably
Yeah.
would have, maybe we would have got you caught on a day when you were thinking it's fine.
Right.
And it wouldn't have been. I can feel the energy change in you, Kamaya,
Mhm.
from even the last time I saw you, which you were like, it's a new year. This is different. This is a calmer version
Mhm.
of I feel hope,
Mhm.
right? It's
Mhm.
there's a belief in you now as opposed to I'm intending on it and I'm
Well, and
committed.
the reason that I can say that is because I'm now able to walk in that hope. I'm seeing
Mm.
the fruits of that.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
before it was, again, as you going through the stages of grief and then as you're coming out of like those seasons, I was like, I'm going to come out of this. Like,
Yes, yes.
this is what's next.
Committed
I'm
to it.
speaking this into existence. I'm
Yes,
manifesting this. Well, now we're still manifesting, but we're also walking through it. I can
yes.
say, yes, I said I'm going to do this thing and I did the thing. And now I can look back and say, hey, Luann, we did the thing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And
yeah,
we're
yeah,
going
yeah.
to do the next thing and the next thing. And so there's hope, but there's also proof
Yeah,
of that hope being manifested.
yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm excited for this future and for this husband and these kids and
We're
and
putting
we're
it out in the universe.
right, we're
If
putting it
you're
all out there.
listening, if you're the one straight guy in our audience,
The one trick guy, literally, like seriously. But you know what? You may have a friend of a friend,
that's
3 degrees
right.
of separation. Listen,
Oh man, you're a love. I appreciate you. I appreciate you
I
coming here and
appreciate
sharing
you.
this.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's you don't know who needed to hear this today, Kamaya. I'm 100% certain that
I
someone
hope it
did.
really does touch someone and encourages them to just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, sweetie, for being here. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right, I have to say, this conversation with Kamaya stayed with me beyond the recording. Actually, most of my conversations with you, Kamaya, have stayed with me after them. Um, what you've been through is remarkable. But there is a lesson that I want you listening to take from it. We talk constantly in the entrepreneurial world about resilience and pushing through, and there is a place for that. But Kamaya's story is a reminder that pushing through is not always the best move available to you. Sometimes the best, the strongest move is to take a page from her book and slow down and grieve and let yourself change before you rebuild on what she described as the new foundation, right? This matters for you no matter what business you're in, interior designer, window treatment professional, candlestick maker, right? Because we tend to measure ourselves by how quickly we get back to normal, get back on the saddle, right? Kamaya didn't do that. She stopped trying to hit someone else's timeline for healing and instead focused on getting healthy enough to keep going at whatever pace that looked like for her on that particular day, that particular week, that particular month. You heard her talk about it, right? That's a different definition of success, and it's worth considering. So, here's how I would like you to think about applying this. If you're in a hard season right now, personal or professional, stop asking yourself how fast you can get back to full speed. Ask yourself instead, what do you actually need right now? Just like Kamaya did, learn by her example. Give yourself permission to do that, even if it slows the business down for a while. Hopefully, you've built a business that can survive a slower season. That's what every other one of the episodes on this show is about, preparing you for this moment. We prepare to be lucky and we prepare to be unlucky, right? If you cannot survive, if your business cannot survive, then go shore it up. Because if you're not in that moment right now, I promise you, it's coming. None of us get out of this in whatever shape it comes at us. Okay. And here's what we learned from Kamaya. You cannot survive by running on empty indefinitely. So if you are in a tough stretch right now, I want you to also know you're not alone in it. And sometimes just knowing that is the first thing that helps you pick your head up. If Kamaya's story gave you a little bit of that, hey, I can do it, well, maybe you'd like to hear other stories. Go back in our archive and listen to the Overheard episode on resilience that featured Antonia Deloach, Sandra Funk, and Robin Burrell. 3 different businesses, 3 completely different challenges, and each one of them will show you what it actually looks like to keep going when things get hard. We'll link it in the show notes. Kamaya, I want to say something directly to you before I move on. What you shared today was not easy, and I don't take it lightly that you chose to be honest with me, with us, about your grandma, your mother, and about the colleague you lost in the hardest possible way, and about your relationship ending, all in a year and a half. You didn't come here with a tidy story. You came here with a hard truth that you are and still will be a work in progress, right? And that you're figuring out the new, right? And that took real courage. Thank you, sweetie. And for you listening, if this episode meant something to you, or if someone came to mind while you listened to it that you think could benefit from hearing what Kamaya has told us today, send it to them. I'm sure Kamaya would be honored and proud and have just a little bit more. Yep, that's one of the reasons for my hard lessons, so that I could teach and help you get through yours. All right? Now, before I let you go, a quick note if you're listening to me in real time. I will be at Las Vegas Market all next week, starting Sunday, and I would love to see you there. I am so grateful to IDS, Studio Designer, MyDoma, and Design Assist, sponsors of this podcast, who are the ones putting together all of the activities at Market that I will be attending. I'll be a part of the several events that they're hosting, including a panel on how design firms can use their brick and mortar spaces to build brand and client trust, and another on how a VA can actually run real design work and help impact your business positively. So go to luannigara.com/event. That's luannigara.com/event, and you will see the full lineup and all of the RSVP links for these free events. Alrighty, my friends. Thank you for being here. You know, we're humans. We show up every day to our business, and we show up every day with the good, the bad, and the in-between. And I appreciate you, Camia, for helping us navigate a little bit of this journey. Decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of Luann Nigara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or Luann University, go to luannigara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to windowworksnj.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.